Looking to take your financial knowledge to the next level? You're in the right place. Welcome to Ask Ralph, offering accounting, technical, and financial advice. Whether you're looking to save taxes or improve your business, he's got you covered. Here's your host of Ask Ralph, Ralph Eastup Jr.
Hello and welcome back to the Ask Ralph Show. Today we're going to end our credit series. If you've missed any of the series, you can always go back to our podcast site. Just go to the Ask Ralph website or to where you get your podcasts and you can listen to the whole entire credit series. But today I just want to take a few minutes to talk about some avoiding credit repair and credit counseling schemes. We're going to talk about some credit card fraud to avoid. And we're going to also finish up here with a discussion on zero liability. So we got a lot to cover, so let's jump right into it. Now, one of the things that I feel very sad about is these credit repair schemes. Every day companies appeal to consumers with poor credit histories, promising, for a fee of course, to clean up your credit report so they can get a car loan, a home mortgage, interest, or even a job. The truth is, after most consumers pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars in upfront fees, these companies do nothing to improve the creditor's credit. Worse yet, many credit repair companies simply vanish with the unsuspecting consumer's money. So let's talk about some of the red flags if you're going to get involved in this credit repair scams. The first thing you want to look out for is the company wants the consumer to pay for credit repair services before any service is provided. That's a big red flag. Don't do it. The company does not inform consumers about their legal rights, actions they can take for themselves for free. A lot of the things that these credit scam companies or credit repair companies don't tell you is that most or 100% of these things you can do yourself. You just have to invest the time to do it. The company recommends that consumers do not contact a credit bureau directly. As I've said before, you have every right to dispute every single item on every single credit report. You can do this yourself. You don't need a credit repair company to do this. The company suggests that consumers try to invent a new credit report by applying for a federal identification number to use instead of their social security number. Big red flag, run the other direction. That's nonsense. Or the company advises consumers to dispute all information in a credit report or take action that seems illegal, such as creating a new credit card identity or credit identity. If consumers follow this illegal advice and commit fraud, they themselves may be subject to prosecution. So you can go into this with the idea that you're going to repair your credit and you can end up behind bars. So pay attention. This goes along the same way with credit counseling scams. Along with these credit repair scams, there's credit counseling scams. The things to look out for here is beware of promises that sound too good to be true. Claims of helping you get out of debt easily are a red flag. Guess what? You didn't get into debt easily, or maybe you did. You're not going to get out of it easily. There is no, magic wand that you can wave and you're going to be out of debt. Deal with a reputable agency. Check with state consumer agencies and a local Better Business Bureau to make sure that they have been no or few complaints against the organization and the complaints that have been raised were favorably resolved. Hey, listen, it's okay if a company has an issue on the Better Business Bureau. Somebody may have an issue with them. Look at how it was resolved. If it was resolved in an amenable fashion, that may still be a company to work for. As a general rule, nonprofit credit counseling organizations are the best choices. They are also reputable for profit companies, but screening the good from the bad will require greater consumer diligence. Verify that the organization provides counseling and education as well as debt consolidation and payment services to help consumers achieve financial stability and remain debt-free. It's not just about doing a job for you. They need to educate you. They need to show you how to get out of this. Carefully read through any written agreements that a credit counseling organization offers. It should describe in detail the services they provided, the payment terms for these services, including their total cost, how long it will take to achieve their desired results, and guarantees offered, and the organization's business name and address. Avoid paying upfront fees. Reputable agencies do not charge big upfront fees, but may take a small monthly fee for a debt repayment service. The initial consultation should always be free. So if they're trying to charge you a fee before they even talk to you, run the other direction. Beware of any high fees or required contributions like monthly service charges that may add to the overall debt load and defeat efforts to pay out the bill. And I've seen these. A lot of times these credit counseling, they're nothing more than a way for an intermediary to make money. And the other thing you want to be careful of, confirm payments of creditors. Some debt repayment services require the consumer to periodically send it one lump sum check that it divides among the creditors. Debtors who enter into these types of arrangements should verify with the creditors that these payments are actually being made. And I've seen this happen in practice where people will actually, send in payments to the credit counseling company, but the credit counseling company maybe is only paying one creditor because they may have a good relationship with that person, but the rest of them are not getting paid. So let's talk about some credit card fraud and how to avoid that. And I think what we should really focus in on here is common credit card scams. Each year, about 174 million Americans make trillions of dollars in credit card transactions on roughly 636 million credit cards. That's a lot of credit cards, folks. There's a lot of money getting passed around, and then when there is money, there is a scammer who seeks to take away the cash using clever methods, right? Of course. Now, there's laws in place to prevent this, but here's some most common fraudulent practices. Stealing a credit card or unauthorized use of data associated with an account. Obviously, identity theft. That's where thieves use fake or stolen documents to open an account in someone else's name or take control of an existing account. You got to pay attention to your credit report. See what accounts are on there. Make sure they're things that you have. Make sure they're things that you agreed to. Another one is stealing credit card information during legitimate transactions. You've heard of this. It's called skimming. It a lot of times happens at retail stores or ATM machines. This is a big deal in our area in gas stations where they actually put an electronic device on the outside of the card swipe and they skim your information. Just like, they're going to sell this information on what you've heard it probably said, the dark web. They have all these credit card things, that are out there. So how do you avoid these things? As you can see, credit card scams range from petty to theft to calculated criminal activity. Be aware of things like phishing. That's where somebody might send you an email that seems like it's trustworthy. It can be a way for a scammer to acquire your usernames, passwords, personal identification numbers, PINs, and all that. Never give your account numbers to anyone, especially online. I did a series on that not too long ago. If someone calls with a claim of suspicious activity, call your bank and credit card company to verify if the problem is real. So if you get that call and it says, hello, Mr. Jones, this is, Lewis from Capital One. I'm calling because, there's an issue with your credit card. And then the first thing they ask you is, can you give me your credit card number? Wrong answer. They need to provide you with information, but even better yet, hang up the phone, go to your credit card, flip the credit card over. There's a telephone number on the back and call that number and talk to somebody and ask them if that's a legitimate call. So that's all things that you need to be aware of. Now, let's take a couple seconds and let's talk about zero liability. And what is zero liability? What happens if you lose your credit card to a thief or an online hacker and the thief spends money on your card? Well, here's the bottom line. Both MasterCard and Visa have a zero liability protection policy on all their cards so that you can get your money back. Now, a lot of people don't realize how this works. A zero liability policy that safeguards credit card issuers, cardholders, and account holders against credit card related theft and fraud. Your credit card issuer or financial institution won't hold you responsible and will reimburse you for money spent fraudulently or illegally in the name by others. Now, here's the deal with this. You have to report it timely. What does that mean? That means that when you get your statement, you can't just ignore it. You've got to look at it. If you see something on your statement which is not yours, then you need to dispute that with the credit card company. If you don't, then that zero liability can be set aside. You have to exercise vigilant care in safeguarding your stuff. So understand the zero liability. Make sure you're looking at your credit card statements. A lot of people set up text alerts. It's a great idea, but keep an eye out for these types of fraud.
You've been listening to Ask Ralph, brought to you by Saggio Accounting Plus. Please subscribe to and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a rating and review. Our podcast is produced by Carolyn Peters. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Ask Ralph Media. You can also hear me each week on 1450 WILM and on 1410 WDOV in Delaware and on the iHeartRadio app. Submit your questions or ideas for future shows by sending an email to AskRalph@AskRalph.com.
The information contained in this episode of Ask Ralph is based on data available as of the date of its release. Saggio Accounting Plus and Ask Ralph Media Inc. is under no obligation to update this content if changes occur. Applying this information to your specific situation requires careful consideration of all facts and circumstances, and any information provided is not to be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney before acting on any material covered.